All right. So ActionFlow has a brand new feature that we are really excited to announce. This should help speed up training for new employees, and it's a way to quickly determine the status of a job and steps that still need to be completed for those jobs. It's maybe a great tool also for sales reps, just anybody that wants to use this will be able to do that. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so this is the main ActionFlow customer tab. This should be fairly familiar, but you'll notice there is a new tab up at the top that says job. And when you click this tab, it opens the new job tab screen. This is just a different user interface to allow you to see the job and see all the information about it. So I'm going to walk you through this new screen, and we will talk about how you navigate it. So part one is the way to search for a job, and we're going to start just right at the top where that red box is. You can use the search bar and type in a job name or a customer name. Now, one important thing to note, the job tab will only show you one job at a time. So if you have a customer that you are looking for multiple jobs, you need to see multiple jobs for that customer, you will still need to use the customer tab for that. But looking at one job at a time makes it easy to see if that job is up to date, if there's actions that need to be completed. In addition to the search bar, we also have the Create Quote button at the top. This has the same functionality that it has had in the Customer tab. So if you click that Create Quote, it will open the quote wizard and you can build your quote. There is now a new Active Jobs List button. So if you click this button, you will see all the current active jobs in your system. These will be jobs that are in the accepted, templated, fabricated, partial install, or installed status. This will not bring in jobs that are in created or paid status, unless if a job is in a paid status and it has an amount due, then those will still show up. But other than that, you won't see just created jobs, but you will see active jobs when you click on this.
Alicia, there's a question in the chat.
Absolutely.
On the search bar. Can you search by the job number?
I believe the answer to that is yes. Brees, if I'm wrong. But yes, I believe that you can. Okay, you can put a job number in.
You can put in a job number or a customer name.
Okay. Right. Okay. So this next section of the screen is where we put the general contact and location information for the job. So you've got the address, the phone number, all of that information is entered here. You've got a name for the job. You can also see the job status right up at the top. If you have a job site that is different than the customer address, you can click this button and it will open a new job site address where you can enter that different address for that job site. You can also still attach an account or a builder here, and you can also specify the contact for that account. There is a job notes section where you can add the notes that you want to take for this job. The job details is something that you do have on the customer tab. On the customer tab, when you open it, it expands that job details out and you can fill in the information. On the job tab, when you click that job details button, it opens a pop-up screen and you can see all your job details in that pop-up screen. Any questions about that section?
There is a question, will the new tab affect or be active on the mobile app for different addresses?
The mobile app functionality is not changing. So what if there is a separate job site address on a job right now in the customer tab? However that shows up in the mobile app, that will be how it works from the job tab with that job site address. Okay. Let's talk about the next section, and this is the areas section. It's on the far right. You can see all the areas that are associated with the job. And when you look over here, you still have the ability to search for an area by number. This is the button, just like on the customer tab, where you can edit the area. You can open the area in read-only mode. All of this functionality and all the information located here is the same as it is on the customer tab. It's just a little bit of a different way of looking at it. You also have the reports button here. And if you click that button, it will open the list of reports that you currently see if you use that task menu and reports in the customer tab. And then just to the right of the areas is, just to the right of the areas, you still have the job files. I'm going to move my mouse over there. You still have the job files section where you can still open the job files and see all of those. Okay. Let's talk about payments. Payments is down below the areas. You can immediately see if there is an amount due on your job. It's highlighted in yellow. You can see any payments that have been previously received for that job. And you can also collect a payment from right here. If you are not using ActionPay, you will see the manually enter payment received button. It's all the way to the right in that red box. That button allows you to enter a payment. If you are using ActionPay, the other two buttons allow you to accept a credit card or ACH payment, as well as email or text a payment link. If you're not using ActionPay, check with your account manager. This is a great time to add that in. That allows you to accept payments right from inside ActionFlow. Any questions on payments or areas? Okay. And we are going to talk about actions. Obviously, actions is the most important part of ActionFlow because that's how your job moves through the process. So the actions are located on the bottom left of your screen. When you open your actions, they do look a little different. The actions are color-coded. So if it is a blue action, it has not yet been completed. If it's an action that's in green, it is a completed action. Now, completed actions will only show up if you turn on the history with the show history checkbox. Once you click that checkbox, you'll see your green completed actions in addition to the blue upcoming actions. This tab also allows you to show only your actions. So if you open a job and you only want to see the actions that are assigned to you, you can check this box and those will be the only actions that you see. So if you have issues with accidentally completing other users' actions, you can turn on that box and you won't have that problem anymore. Okay, so that is a walkthrough of the new job tab. But how do we turn it on if you want to use it? Well, the job tab is turned on the administration tab. So if you are not an administrator and you want to use the job tab, you'll need to go to one of your account administrators on site, or you can reach out to your account manager at ActionFlow. But if you are an administrator and somebody does want the job tab turned on, you will open your administration tab. And then you're going to locate the user preferences section in the users list. And then once you've located the user preferences, you're going to find this job tab column and simply check the box for those who want to be able to see the job tab. And then this feature will be available. It'll be located between your customer and your account tab. And you can use this, or you can continue to use the customer screen, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. And that is our job tab. So do we have any other questions? Oh, I know we have to be on mute, but I don't like the silence.
You can unmute yourself now. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself.
And I'm just going to have it pulled up in case somebody needs to see something specific. But this way I can go back to seeing the chat and people's faces if they have a question.
Yeah, I'll just, if while you're waiting to see if you have any questions, I'll give a little bit of the background. Those of you who are new to ActionFlow, or if you can think back when you were new, you might have looked at our customer screen and like your first glimpse, and you thought, man, that's a lot of information. What's going on here? And we got the feedback quite a bit. Just that, man, yeah, ActionFlow is powerful, but it can also be a little intimidating. So, there's several initiatives we're taking to try to make it easier. We're improving our support and all that, but this is, if you're already really comfortable with the customer tab and it all makes sense, and you may not even need to deal with the job tab. There's really no new functionality there. And there's a few questions. Just to be clear, that like there's one set of data. The data isn't changing at all. It's just there's the customer view of this data or the job view of this data. So it's just different views of the same data. So you could test it. You can see, like, make a change over here on the job tab and then go to the customer tab, and you'll see that data. It's just an attempt, cut out some of our functionality, show one job at a time, and it's just an attempt for those who might want it, to have a little simpler, cleaner view of a single job in ActionFlow. So that's some of the rationale behind this addition.
I just answered a question in the chat, but and I think Josiah did too. Once you make those changes in the admin tab to turn that job tab on, you will need to close and restart ActionFlow for that change to take effect.
And there is a question, can the job tab be read-only?
Oh.
That's a good question. I mean, every other tab you can set to be read-only. I'm not sure if we've turned on that functionality where you can make it read-only. So I think maybe right now the answer is no, but that is something we should add to our list so that would become an option.
And Lacey, I'm not sure which company you're with, but as soon as we're finished, I'm happy to log into your account and look and see if we can get that on for you. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Usually, well, obviously, if you have other questions about the job tab as you start using it, or if you need assistance getting it turned on, you can always reach out to your ActionFlow account manager. You can also go to the client portal with the green button at the top of ActionFlow and see the knowledge base in the community forum if you have questions. But if there aren't any other questions about the job tab, I think
Actually,
we're
what-
finished.
Since, I mean, number one, good job, Alicia. That was
Thanks.
concise and clear. So I think it must have been so clear that no one had any questions. But I want to throw a quick advertisement in and for the thing that she just mentioned we recently rolled out a new knowledge base, and that includes a community page. And we're encouraging everybody to get onto that community page. It's one of those things where it's sort of a chicken and egg type of thing, where we'd like to get lots of questions and interaction and build a community that's helping each other out. But if nobody's on there and you go on and say, oh, well, nobody's here, so I'm not going to ask any questions. But if nobody asks any questions, nobody will ever be on there. So, how do we get this critical mass of people on there that can start building that momentum and starting that community? And it's just people like you going to the community and asking about your favorite ice cream or something, or ask questions, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna, over the next year or so, however long it takes, we're gonna kind of try to keep plugging this and encouraging people to get onto that community page and ask questions and interact. And it can be questions about ActionFlow or about just the fabrication business in general. Any ways. We've just got a lot of cool fabricators using ActionFlow, creating countertops. So any way that community can help each other, we'd like to encourage that. So there's my plug. Yeah, the community page is available to non-administrators. You do now the one little hurdle you have to get over to use it. There is a separate user name you have to use. So like you might have an ActionFlow login, but that's not going to get you onto this community page. It's a different feature. So you do have to create a username on the community page. But once you've done that, then you can log on, and yeah, any ActionFlow user would have access to the community page.
We do have a couple of more questions about resizing the information blocks. As you are working in the page and you open different things, the boxes change depending on the information. So there are scroll bars to go up and down inside of a box, but as you open different things, the boxes will adjust. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, Tammy's saying,
And
the area section takes up most of the window, which I haven't really seen that. Normally, there's like an address and a phone. I guess if maybe there were no address, no phone, and no actions, that left side might collapse. But I think as soon as you would add an address or an actions, you would see that expand. But yeah, work with it a little bit. And if you still have questions, talk to your account manager.
The active jobs list up here, just gonna review that real quick as soon as I move it over. So this list will show you jobs that are accepted, templated, fabricated, partially installed, or installed. The only jobs that will show up here that are in paid status are jobs that have an amount due. Created jobs will not be on here because they are not yet considered active. They're just a bid job. You can use the active jobs list buttons up here to show dates instead of the little icons, or you can turn this on and you can include jobs with a 0 amount due if you turn that on. Okay.
Questions are flying in.
Yeah, I'm
fast
seeing
and
that.
furious now.
Selecting a job from the do now customer job. You can change your default tab. So Reese, if they change their default tab to the job tab, will the do now list take them to the job tab?
Yes, it should.
Okay.
And what you might show them where that, did we show the default tab?
I haven't, I am about to.
Okay,
So in ActionFlow under user preferences,
I think it's the
You can-
default.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, these are currently set to 0, which is the customer tab. You can adjust this to a 1. I think the job tab would be 1. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's on our list of things, is to turn that into a drop down that would make it more obvious. But yeah, that's if you just count the tabs over starting with 0 forward, then you can put a number in there. And so if your default tab is the job tab, then like the do now list should take you to the job tab instead of the customer tab.
So Reese, is this something you would consider adding into settings under page preferences, default home page, so the user can configure it themselves?
Yeah, that makes sense. That
It
does.
really shouldn't have to
So I
rely
think-
on
I think-
admin for that.
Is that, I think it might already
Grace-
be there.
No,
Yeah,
I
Grace
just
Under
checked. I just checked.
settings,
Oh yeah, there it is,
Mhm.
right there, default homepage.
you can change this to
Uh,
single job.
Single job. That's what, okay. I was looking for the word job. Okay, thank you.
Yep, so you can adjust that right here as well.
So that won't appear until you have that feature turned on in master. Is that correct? Because I'm in a database right now that feature has not been turned on, and I do not see that default home page in that dropdown. And I just logged in a few
Oh.
moments ago. So either I've looked here, I don't see the word single. So I got a feeling you'd have
Okay.
to turn that feature on. Am I correct there or not?
Oh, you would have to have it on for I would imagine you would have to have it, yes, this turned on for that user before it would show
Right.
up in that user's default. Yes, that would make
Okay.
sense.
Very good. Thank you.
That's a guess.
Yeah,
but-
if you get out and back in and still not showing up, let us know.
Gotcha. Okay.
A question about $T. Will $T be included in the quoting area breakdown? Alicia, can you click on the quote, edit a quote right there, please? This, the quote area actually should be identical. Like once, this shouldn't change. You can get to it from the job tab or the customer tab. So yeah, if you can see up at the top, the $T is there. So this screen will not change at all based on these changes. You're getting to the same place.
Is it possible, will $T ever be included up here?
I would say the answer is no, because
Okay.
again, we're trying to keep it clean and simple. And you know, if you're wanting that more advanced functionality, then you know, you'll have the customer tab and various reports where we can see that. Because we're gonna try to keep this clean and simple. Yeah.
Okay, did I miss any questions in
Nope.
the chat?
Oh,
Okay.
I'll mention one other thing. Like over the past days, as we've been leading up, we're getting feedback and we're still tweaking. So, I mean, obviously we'd like it to be perfect, but normally, you know, we can't test all the various things and we typically get feedback. So we expect to get some feedback over the next few weeks and we'll probably continue to tweak it. But just yesterday, we got some feedback that on the active jobs list, it might be nice to see the jobs that were just created and to see the created date on there. So Alicia's answer was absolutely correct in terms of right now, it only shows jobs that are accepted. But we have had a request that if you could use, so basically, you know, it'd be nice to see a job that you've quoted. on the active jobs list, because right now it doesn't show it unless it is accepted. So your quoted jobs are not showing up. So I think we're probably going to be able to use that to see your quoted jobs.
As always,
I
this
don't,
recording will be sent out as well. So yeah, being recorded, and you'll get it in the next day or two for reference.
And Jean Ann said it would be nice to filter out the jobs that have been completed. That should already be working. That's kind of what, it's not like a totals jobs list, it's an active jobs list. So if a job gets completed, then it should drop off that list. So the goal is that would just show the jobs you're currently working on. And
not
one
seeing
other
any
bit
more
of
questions.
one other bit of feedback we got in the past day or two was somebody saw that list and they said, hey, that's kind of nice. Can I see that from the customer tab? And right now the answer is no. But yeah, I mean, there are other lists like in the dashboard. There's an active jobs list that is very similar. But we might also make that active jobs list available from the customer tab because yeah, because there's no other view exactly like that right now in ActionFlow. Marked as completed. I think it's if the amount due goes to zero, which, if you enter a payment and you zero, so that there's nothing due, it should drop off the list. And or if it's installed, I think it drops off the list.
Oh, okay.
What were you saying? Or
I was going to ask if it had to be in paid status to drop off the list.
no, I think it's installed. Well, can you click that active jobs list for a minute, please? Yeah, in those cases, you see ones that are installed, but they also have an amount due. And this is like our ABC countertop. So this is where we test things and do demos and all. And so this isn't, the data here isn't necessarily very realistic. But typically, once a job is installed, you should get a payment.
There's no jobs in the list that are installed.
Yeah, although there are some icons there under the installed column.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interplay between a job being installed and the amount due. But yeah, I think the primary way that it gets dropped off the list is if the amount due goes to zero.
Couple more questions in the chat. Can a sales rep filter be added to the active jobs list?
Probably not. Again, there are all the reports that have always been there are still there, the grid view and all this stuff. So we are going to try really hard to keep it as simple as possible. And, every little incremental thing you add, pretty soon it becomes bloated and more overwhelming to the initial viewer. And so we're really trying to keep this simple. And yes, in doing that, there's gonna be functionality that's not on this page and things you can't do on this page. So we're gonna fight pretty hard to keep it lean and simple. And if you need more advanced filtering and all, there will be other places to get to that. So like reports that show quoted jobs versus assigned jobs. Yeah, anything you're not losing any functionality with this page. So if you got a report or a view on the grid view, that's still going to be there. It's just a cleaner, simplified view that is one option that will be available to you.
Well, thank you everyone for attending. I really appreciate that you were all able to take time to do this and ask questions, and we're excited about this feature. So if you have any questions, let us know.